got the rain ASMR going. Hmm, very peaceful. Very peaceful. It's time to disturb that peace. We're going to stir the pot. We're going to dig a little deep today. We're going to figure out which one is more important. Belief, belief in yourself, belief that you can pull it off. Self-image, right? How do you see yourself? Do you see yourself being able to pull off this task, get this result, whatever that is? Or is simply taking the action, taking the steps, the tangible, actionable steps, is doing that first more important? Which one's more important? I spent a lot of time wondering, asking myself, which one is more important? Which one carries more weight? If there were two twins, one person has massive, massive belief in themselves, massive conviction, but they don't take a lot of action, and then someone else, the whole time they're thinking, I can't do this. The other twin, right? They're thinking, I don't have what it takes, but they're taking the steps. Who's going to get a better result? And I pondered this question because I got into all these law of attraction people, all these manifestors, and they very much emphasize the belief in that without it, if your subconscious mind is doubting you the whole time, it's going to be this uphill battle. So I'm sitting here thinking, okay, that makes sense. So maybe spend more time visualizing, more time meditating, more time, I can do this, affirming affirmations, than doing the action. Because I gotta get my head on straight before I get my feet on the ground. I mean, I'd hate to, this is where it gets dumb. I'd hate to waste my time with unproductive action if I don't have this belief dialed in. What an insane cop out. What an insane cop out to pulling the trigger. And what a great way to delay the actual hard steps while convincing myself I'm doing the right thing. I spent a lot of time in that space, and what could not be any more obvious to me now, these days, the best protocol, the best approach is doing both. It's not that hard. It's not that complicated. I mean, if there was a gun to our head, life or death, and we had to choose only one and sacrifice the other, I guess we could put a little more thought into this debate, but why would why would we not do both? If I could go back in time and slap the dog shit out of me, I would. Like, what the fuck are you talking about, you lazy bastard? Just do both. You can hit your affirmations, you can do all your mindset stuff while you're driving, while you're doing something that's passive time, and then when you have the time to actually take some steps and get things in motion, go do that. What an insane debacle. Yeah, I know, I just gotta figure out which one's more important, and then I'm happy to do this thing, but I really gotta figure out, fucking crazy. And this is the whole thing. The more conviction you have, the more you believe in yourself, you will take those correct steps, those correct actions, and the more you take those correct steps and correct actions, you will have more belief in yourself. They feed into each other. They help each other out. So do both. And really the action feeding the belief, I would say, is even more powerful than the belief feeding into taking the right action. Because at the end of the day, going up to introduce yourself to that person, to go put yourself in that uncomfortable situation where you might face rejection, whatever it is, going to a gym and you're very uncomfortable in a gym, whatever the action thing is, that's always going to be more uncomfortable, more intimidating, more nerve-wracking than sitting there with your fucking eyes closed, imagining some shit. And I'm I'm coming down on it kind of hard. I love all that stuff. I visualize every single day. I meditate every single day. I affirm all the time, out loud, in my mind. I'm constantly doing a lot of these metaphysical practices, but for so long I was so deep into it, prolonging the really uncomfortable stuff, right? I had this client once, and she just kept saying, You know what's really getting in the way? I just don't believe in myself. I don't. That's the real problem. I just don't believe in myself. And the conviction she had in that statement, holy guacamole, if she could have that conviction in doing anything proper, doing anything correct in what we were trying to pull off, wow, she would have seen some dramatic results. And it was so odd to me. It's like, okay, you violently don't believe in yourself. Who gives a fuck? Who gives a shit? You have a violent conviction that you can't pull it off. Got it. So, anyways, tomorrow this is the plan. We're gonna wake up at this time. We're gonna work out from this time to this time. You can eat this many calories. It's not that complicated. We don't need to do some psychoanalysis first. Oh, well, hold on. Before I do the thing that will 100% guarantee I get the result, I just want to kind of check on the mind map and make sure I have my compass on correct, make sure the boat's steered towards that island I'm trying to get to before I do the steps that will 100% always work and get me this result that I've wanted for so long. Before I do See how silly that is? One day One day of doing the things that scare you, one day of doing the things that make you uncomfortable, one day of doing the things that you've said out loud and in your mind you have such a hard time doing, the things you can't do. One day of doing that shit will give you more belief in yourself. It will start to cement the neural wiring in your brain. You will start to see yourself in a different light. Way more from doing that than sitting there waiting to have the belief. But again, do both. A lot of these metaphysical practices, the barrier for entry doesn't even exist. It doesn't even exist. TM, getting your special transcendental meditation, and you take that course, that's like a high ticket. You got to pay a lot of money for that. Sitting there with your eyes closed, imagining your life differently is free. Meditating, getting in a nice brainwave state is free. All it takes is time, and I couldn't even really say effort because it's a very effortless process. Affirming, you can do that shit while you're driving on the way to work. You guys, don't make the shit harder than it needs to be. Don't get in your own way. We have to be wary of, this is the thing, our minds know us better than we know ourselves. Our brains know us better than we know ourselves. So it's going to pull on the levers. It's going to find a way to delay your evolution, your growth process. Because the ego, the inner child, whatever the fuck it is, it would rather stay as it is. It would rather maintain homeostasis than have this evolutionary process. So it's going to find weird ways. Again, I'm so deep into all this metaphysical stuff and law of attraction years ago that in my mind I was justified in holding off on taking action. How fucking crazy does that sound? Sounds crazy to me now. At the time it made sense. That's the problem. Your brain is going to make some shit that doesn't make sense. It's going to make it make sense to you. It's going to try and get you in your own way. Take the action. And also, I am that motherfucker. I'm going to get this result. Take the action. And also, I am him. That's what they say right now. Or, I am her. I am the one. I am the one. I do what it takes. I follow the plan. I get the result. And then go follow the plan. And then go get the result. Do both. And watch your life transform. Let's go.